Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be working on our 57 build again today. So today's video is sponsored by Auxbeam. They decided to help us out with our budget build. Let's jump into it. Auxbeam sent us one of their switch panels. This is the RB80. Let me show you what it's all about. All right, so first of all, you gotta have stickers and your instruction manual. So again, this is the RB80 model right here. It has 8 different circuits on it and a whole bunch of different functions. This is gonna be our circuit control box. It's a 60 amp circuit breaker. It's our switch panel, screws, a waterproof cover for the switch panel. This comes with all the wires you need to hook up your circuit control box, your circuit breaker, and your switch panels. The only wires that you really need to worry about are on the lighting circuits itself. This is the harness from your switch panel to your circuit control box. This does come with the main feed wires as well, which is very convenient. This is the mounting bracket for the switch panel. There's also a flush mount bracket for the switch panel. Came with a bunch of zip ties. As you can see on the sticker here, mounting brackets underneath the foam. So these are brackets for our circuit control box. So we got 2 different brackets for that as well. And these are very solid brackets, very thick, solid brackets. Honestly, everything in this box seems very quality. Circuit breaker has a reset on it if you were to pop the circuit breaker. So it has little caps over the terminals. Our switch panel itself, very satisfying clicks. We'll go over all the functions in a bit. Our circuit box, you have a button on the side right here to open it up, and inside you have some spare fuses right here and a fuse remover tool. In here you have some fused circuits. They're all labeled 1 through 4, 5 through 8, as well as our switch panel. As you can see there, these are also labeled, so you know which circuit's going to be which. It also comes with a large variety of sticker decals, so you can customize your switch panel to whatever you're using it for. So it pretty much has most things you would need, honestly. Has most things I need, definitely. What's cool about this switch panel, and we'll show you that later, is it does have a toggle mode, a momentary mode, and a pulsed mode. So you can just use it as a normal switch. You can use it as a momentary switch for, say, like a horn, or you could use it as a pulsed mode. We will definitely be testing out all 3 of those. As honestly, everything in this kit seems very quality, and I'm very happy with it so far, and I'm not just saying that. This thing, the circuit panel, is very sturdy, nice and heavy. This is all metal right here, not plastic. Very nice construction. So let's get to installing it, guys. Alright guys, I got our main feed wires hooked onto our 60 amp breaker. So we're going to be mounting the circuit box first thing. I'm going to be using this Auxbeam bracket. I'm going to be mounting it on that last hole right here. So I'll probably be putting this guy down here. I'll be mounting this guy to my fuse block itself. This thing does have a cover on it, and I'll be popping that cover off and bolting it directly to that cover, putting some Loctite on there. I got our circuit box mounted, have our negative lead and our positive lead hooked up. This guy's gonna go straight to the battery. So yeah, this guy goes to your battery, positive, circuit breaker, then to your circuit box. Now that we have our circuit control box and our circuit breaker mounted, now we're going to go over to our fuse block over here. We're gonna find our radio fuse. So our radio fuse on my truck is right here. Auxbeam sent these handy little fuse block connectors. These guys just pop in where the fuse was previously. It has a crimp connector on the other end, which goes to this little harness right here, which plugs into our accessory port right here on our circuit box. That's what's gonna turn this whole circuit box on once the truck actually gets turned on with the key. It's like a trigger wire. Just to make sure that this fuse is a switch fuse to the ignition, I have just a simple light tester. So this guy should come on when I hit the key. And there's that light. Make sure to check that you are putting it in a switch fuse, otherwise that circuit box will stay on. That's where we're gonna run our switch at. We have our connector wire right here. I'm gonna take the fuse from the fuse block, and then there's a little slot right here that we're gonna put that fuse in. Stock fuse slides right in. So now we can crimp this wire to this wire. We have our accessory wire mounted. Right here I have the switch panel itself, and I put the swivel bracket on the back of it. So that's just 4 Phillips screws that were included in the hardware. Got those guys on for more mocking up purposes. So I'm gonna be mounting this guy right here. So I'm gonna get some holes drilled for that. And then we will be running our harness wire through the firewall. All right, guys, we have our switch panel itself installed. Now we can start routing our wires for it. So now we're just gonna run our harness to our circuit box. We got our switch panel hooked up with our harness wire. So we're connected on this end of our switch panel, and we are also connected under the hood. So that harness is gonna pop in right here where it says 4-pin connector. That guy is what's running to the switch panel. All we have to do now is hook up our lighting circuits, then hook it up to the battery and test her out. These are my spotlights in the grill. So this is my white spotlight. These are my yellow spotlight. And this is my cargo light. So I'm gonna take all 3 of these guys off right now, and we're gonna start running these circuits to our circuit box. That way we can control it through our switch panel instead of those switches. I'm also gonna be hooking up this third taillight strobe that I don't have hooked up currently. All right, guys, so the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. You have 8 different circuits. You have a negative and a positive slot to put your wires into. So you can put those directly into there, or in my instance, I already have grounds on most of my wires. I'm just using the positive side of it to feed everything. That's only because I've wired this stuff up beforehand. If I had this to begin with, I probably would have ran my negatives there as well. So yeah, guys, it's pretty much just hooking your wires up at this point. I just finished hooking up my strobe for my third brake light. This guy right here is my cargo light for my bed. And these guys are my spotlights up front. If you look at your circuits, 1 and 5 are going to be 30 amp circuits right here. If you have something larger to be feeding, say like a fuel pump or something, you want to use those 1 and 5. So like you have 20 amps on 6 and 2. Then you have 3 and 7, which are 10 amp, and then you have 4 and 8, which are 5 amp. Make sure you have the right amperage for what you're actually putting on there. So we have these guys hooked up right here. I do want to hook up my horn as well, because my horn isn't hooked up. We'll get our wires to the battery side hooked up after that. All right, guys, we have our main battery leads hooked up. We have our cover on, we have our wires cleaned up and zip tied. So now it's time to test this thing out. As we have our official product tester here. We're gonna turn the key. Got lights, let's test her out. See if our horn works. Yep. I did put the horn on momentary because I didn't want it to be locked on. We'll go over the settings right now. When you want to put it on a different mode, you click the mode twice. Your toggle, momentary, and your pulsed. So we'll leave that one on pulsed, see what it does for our front light. So here's what it's doing for our pulsed mode. It's pretty sick. All right, we'll put this guy back on toggle. This switch panel does have a light sensor in it, so that's that little guy right here. It auto dims when it is nighttime. To change the color on this guy, you're gonna press mode and any button. That red light's gonna come on, and you're gonna hold 1 or 4 to change the colors. So if you hold 1, it'll continue to change colors: yellow, orange, red, pink, purple, blue, and then back to green. That's how you change the colors on this. Pretty simple. All right, guys, so now it's time for the fun stuff. Throwing some stickers on there. All right, guys, I have a alcohol wipe right here. I'm just gonna clean this guy up so we can throw our stickers on there. We're gonna leave that guy on yellow right there. If this thing does have like a night mode, if you want the lights to just turn off, you press that mode button once. If you have everything on and you want it off, you just click that off button. If you want everything back on the way it was, click that on button. Alright guys, we're going to try our horn out on strobe mode. Oh dang, it's my jam. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I'd like to thank Auxbeam once again for sponsoring this video and for their awesome product. Make sure to go check out Auxbeam on their website and on Amazon. Make sure to stay tuned for the 57 build. We got plenty more to come. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one, guys.